Should we go?
1, 2, 3. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryatam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishwaro Guratmeti Murti Beda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyam Om.
You need to go to mute everybody. Somebody's not muted. Ruth is not muted. Ruth, can you please mute your microphone?
I don't hear it. Can you hear it?
They're saying it there on the chat.
Oh yeah. Ruth is not muted. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, tonight, Ramji mentioned earlier in his discussion the topic of anxiety, and we left that for last because anxiety really is another word for desire, and it's probably the biggest one that all humans, or at least everyone identified with being a human, encounters and lives in. It's more an energy field that everybody lives in, and something that you discreetly experience. Although we all have our particular personal anxieties, we're actually living in a field of it,
of anxiety.
So this is a satsang from a lady that I had been having various discussions with on the gunas, and she wrote to me. I posted this, so I'm sure many of you have read it, and it's not a new topic for anybody that's a regular. But I think it's worth revisiting, especially with reference to Ramji's transmutation of negative tendencies, because this is such a big one for everybody. So she said to me, thank you for your last email on the 3 gunas. It was incredibly helpful. I'm just starting to understand how these 3 energies create the thoughts and feelings that seem to take over my mind and cause me so much grief. The one I struggle the most with, and it pops up out of nowhere, seemingly regardless of what is going on in my life, positive or negative, is a deeply rooted feeling of anxiety. I can understand more or less where it comes from and apply karma yoga, but nonetheless, I feel helpless and at its mercy. So I said to her, Sundari, this is such a common problem, one that most people experience on a regular basis throughout their lives. So don't feel bad about it. It goes with the territory of being human. In fact, it could be said that anxiety is what defines the human experience. It is not unique to anyone, but common to everyone identified with the body-mind. Even though everyone experiences it, it's normalized and unknowingly experienced by most. It's like Ramji said, it's the most normalized, abnormal feeling that everybody has.
Yeah.
It's like asking a fish what the ocean is. It would not know, even though it is always experiencing the ocean. So
that's a good one.
So for most people, if you had to ask them, how do you feel anxious, they probably wouldn't even be able to tell you, and yet they're feeling it most of the time.
Yeah.
It's a kind of, I'll explain it further on. This ocean is the ocean of fear and desire. Self-inquiry basically boils down to managing the mind with reference to self-knowledge and not with regards to its fears and desires. What makes it so hard to do is that the willful mind ego, under the spell of Maya, i.e. duality, is like having another mind that controls your mind. Your mind is being thought. And that other mind is very powerful. It is also called the collective unconscious, or the causal body, the repository of all fears and desires. Our puny little conscious minds, in comparison with the collective unconscious, are like David and Goliath. So this is a big thing that humans are up against, and this is what makes inquiry so interesting, because this is at the heart. It strikes at the heart of what we're inquiring for: freedom from this fear and desire.
Yeah.
From the causal body is generated all thoughts and feelings, as well as the belief that I am separate, small, incomplete, that I need something or someone to fix me, complete me, and produce happiness. As Ramji said earlier, one of the hardest things to accept for the not self is that there's nothing really wrong with the not self, other than the fact that it's beset by its fears and desires,
Yeah.
of course. The only problem is that expecting the world to give you permanent satisfaction is the cause of all anxiety. Nothing the world gives you lasts or can complete you, for two simple reasons. The joy is not in any object, and nobody can give it to you, because you are what you seek. An object, as you know, is anything other than you, consciousness, the know of all objects, whether they are subtle objects like thoughts, feelings, or material objects. The three gunas, rajas, tamas, and sattva, run the field of existence and are behind everything everyone experiences all the time. All three gunas generate very predictable thoughts and feelings, which are not a problem unless we identify with them. When we can identify them, like Ramji said, all the negative fears, thoughts, and feelings that come up with them can be easily transmuted into their positive values, which is what Ramji was explaining.
Yeah.
All fear is rajas, and the ever-present but often unseen and unnameable anxiety most people feel is a byproduct of macrocosmic or universal rajas, projection.
Yeah.
It's like an overlay on everybody's experience.
Yeah.
This anxiety is a universal tendency or vasana. Most human tendencies, fears and desires, or likes and dislikes, exhaust themselves after a while. We all experience this. A desire will run the mind for a while, and then it's either satiated or not, and tapers off until obviously inevitably returning. But universal anxiety is constantly on. It never really goes away. It's like background music to your life.
Yeah.
It is
Good. That's a good one.
It is caused by the precariousness and unpredictability of life, the fear of not getting what we want, losing what we have. As we all know, the only thing guaranteed in life is change and death of the body. Nothing is really under our control as people. The anxiety this generates is sometimes called the fear of being and becoming, what the Christians call the original sin. It is hidden in the causal body, the unconscious mind, and it is always looking for objects to attach to, and it's never short of objects. It is related to others because it is the ultimate experience of duality or otherness. At its worst, it is the fear that causes knots in the solar plexus, taking over the mind, rendering it incapable of discriminating fact from fiction. I think most people have experienced those kind of thoughts and feelings at some time in their life. Anxiety at its worst, it affects a lot of people in the wee hours of the morning, when the mind becomes a tyrant and it feels like an enemy trying to destroy you.
Or PTSD, stress disorder. That's real.
That is when the mind has really turned.
Yeah, that's really
into
dramatic anxiety.
Yeah. As the self, of course, it doesn't bother you at all, because it's just another thought object known to you, one you can easily dismiss. For those who are self-realized but not self-actualized, the unnamed fear will still come and go. But for those under the spell of Maya, it is ever present, as I've said. Though it feels personal and unique, everyone who is identified with being a person is affected by it to some degree and experiences it in some debilitating way. This is because humans are born in ignorance of their true nature, which is the root cause of fear and worry. Yet this very troubling universal anxiety is no more than a thought born of the belief in separation, of duality. It is not real. And as we know, real is defined as that which is always present and never changes, a definition which can only ever be applied to you,
Yeah, that's the
consciousness,
key definition.
or the self. This fear is the wound of humanity, as I sometimes call it. It is the king of all universal tendencies, also what we call primordial, beginningless ignorance, another name for
Another name for
Maya.
Maya.
The more user friendly term for it is free floating anxiety, which, if self knowledge is not firm, causes a non specific, unnamed existential fear or worse, dread.
Dread, yeah.
Not everyone experiences it directly and acutely, although many do, without even knowing it. The skyrocketing number of people experiencing anxiety attacks is testament to
Panic
this.
attacks, anxiety,
Yeah. It makes people neurotic, driving many crazy, destroying relationships and lives. It is the cause of most mental health issues and suicides. Circumstances don't kill people, their thoughts do.
Good one, that's a good one.
But for most people, existential anxiety works out in petty, mundane, and indirect ways all day long,
Year
year
after
after
year.
year. A death by 1,000 cuts. It makes us feel like we are always missing something, that we never do enough, that we are never enough, no matter if we fail or succeed in life. We feel hopelessly flawed and at the mercy of forces beyond our control, regardless of what happens. You can see the accretions in the faces of many people as they age. It's not hard to see. You just,
Yeah.
sit in an airport or any public place. The exhaustion of existential suffering, the disillusionment, the weight of many losses and disappointments, the unresolved fears and unmet desires etched in faces who have normalized the abnormal for most of their lives.
That's very nicely written. That's beautifully written.
But anxiety is hard to avoid because of its pervasiveness, especially with social media and our current outrage culture and PC society. The fear thought is reinforced at every turn through advertising, the media, only bad news sells after all, and of course through entertainment.
I don't know how people can think that killing people is entertaining.
Yeah, or any kind of violence.
Or blowing up buildings and destroying property is entertaining.
The more violence or threat of violence in a book or a movie, the more it sells. It seems people are addicted to fear and are drawn to it like moths to a flame. Unfortunately, there is no solution to existential anxiety in the world. Therapy helps a bit to reduce the noise, but not the presence of fear. Religion gives others a lifeline to cling to, but no real answers to anything unless blind belief works for you. Meditation and mindfulness also help and are definitely a good thing, as are devotional or gratitude practices. But they alone do not remove the ignorance of your true nature. You are still the same suffering person after meditation that you were before, with the same problems. Nonetheless, living a good life with good values is your best hope of living a relatively peaceful life as a person in the world. But if you want more and you are a knowledge seeker, Vedanta offers the only true solution to existential suffering because it removes ignorance of your true nature as an ever-present, unchanging, untouched self.
That's a good one, untouched self. That's good.
It frees you from dependence on objects for happiness and provides permanent peace of mind, regardless of what is happening in your personal life. It does so because it is based on self-knowledge, the logic of existence, which is always good and always true. It gives you the tools to apply to your mind in order to manage its involuntary thoughts and feelings, so as to live well in this crazy but beautiful world without being affected by it. It can do this because ignorance or Maya, though it is beginningless, the implied meaning is that it is not endless, because self-knowledge ends personal ignorance and therefore ends existential suffering for you for good.
I could just a technical issue here. The universal ignorance is called Maya, but the personal ignorance is called avidya.
Yeah.
And Maya doesn't end, it's eternal. But avidya, your personal ignorance, can end.
But that's why I put ends personal ignorance.
Yeah, ends personal ignorance.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just helping you, those of you who are interested in the Sanskrit, because that's the scriptural basis for this statement that you made.
However, the nameless fear complex is one of the last to go for most inquirers. Self-realization is no guarantee that it has been rooted out. Often self-realization is not enough to slay the fear dragon for good. For most people, it disappears for a bit, then reappears.
Yeah.
Extreme vigilance is the price of freedom. Sadly, for most people, fear is so ever present that it goes unnoticed because it is considered normal, even smart. Cynicism and lack of trust destroy the purity of the soul, but are seen as the mark of a worldly person.
Yeah.
For an inquirer, instead of stressing over the persistence of this ever present energy of anxiety, which comes from the causal body and you didn't create it, it's not something that you can stop, it's there. It's part of the fabric of the Mithya world, which is because it is the essence of desire and fear. Channel that anxiety into a burning desire for liberation. In so doing, take a stand in your true nature as the self. Observe the fear thought playing out. No, it does not come from you or belong to you. Just reason it out. Anything known to you cannot be you.
Anything known to you cannot be you. Yeah.
So look, see the anxiety. You can't see it. It's just part of the fabric of the worldly thought. Your thoughts do not speak the truth about you unless they are based in self-knowledge. Apply karma yoga to the negative thought. That is, surrender the thought back to the universe or macrocosmic unconscious mind from whence it came. Most important, think the opposite thought deliberately and immediately. Do not waste time on this one, even if it's hard or feels phony.
Which it often does. It feels
Yes.
phony, yeah.
There is no peace of mind without managing the involuntary thoughts and feelings that arise unbidden in the mind. And they can affect everybody, even seasoned inquirers can be ambushed by thoughts that suddenly leap out of the causal body. The mind will eat you alive if you do not understand it or manage the wild horses that stampede across it in the forms of thoughts and feelings.
Yay, great imagery.
Just trying to be positive only puts a band-aid on the feelings. It does nothing to negate it. With practice, you get to manage the mind by understanding the three gunas, rajas, action, desire, anger, passion, projection, anxiety, etc., tamas, dullness, negativity, denial, sloth, etc., and sattva, peace, intelligence, calmness, satisfaction, beauty, etc. So do a guna scan on the mind at all times and jump on those rajasic and tamasic thoughts like a cat on a mouse.
Yeah.
Transmute them into anxiety to follow the teachings. Do not give them time to lodge in the mind and cause suffering. Aim for sattva at all times. It takes practice and determination, and we need to be very aware of our inborn conditioning, which can easily trip us up if we do not have a handle on it. But it can be done if you apply self-knowledge to the mind. If duality, ignorance of your true nature takes over, fear takes over, and you are back in the mess, trying to fight your way out of drowning in the ocean of samsara. So self-knowledge, Vedanta gives you the knowledge and the tools. Of course, karma yoga is one of the biggest ones, as well as jnana yoga.
The basis, yeah.
And we need to use them. And Ramji has explained the way to transmute the most negative tendencies produced by the gunas. And it's a very valid and very simple way to work with those energies without taking them on and trying to kill the beast.
Yeah,
because it's very hard to do.
Yeah, the beast lives on.
Yeah.
It says it doesn't have to live on in you.
So let's take some questions.
If there's any questions, we're happy to.
Yes, the satsang is in the satsang section. It was posted, I think, last week or a week or so ago.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions, you're welcome to.
They didn't
ask
seem
them.
to have any questions during my talk because it was pretty clear, I think. So.
I think tonight we have no questions.
Which is good, huh? That's a successful teaching.
Unless we can't see them.
No, I think we're. Oh, hold on just a second.
I think you need to go to the chat.
Oh, do I? Oh, it looks like Cece wants to say something. No?
No, she would.
No, she did. She was. Cece, are you trying to say something? We can't hear you.
It sounds like they can't hear us.
What?
Ramji, could you read the message you received from Swami P?
No,
You've missed some questions.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't from Swami P. It was about Swami P. I did receive a message from Swami P. recently, but
I talked about the one you mentioned. There's a question above this.
oh, I see. Oh, yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Yannick, yeah. When you said that anxiety can be channeled as a burning desire of liberation, it made me remember to tapas. Is tapas another word for channeling? Yes.
Yeah.
Tapas is heat producing.
Yeah.
The actual word tapas means the heat producing. It produces a tension in the churning, the milky ocean. That tension is caused by heat. I mean, that tension produces heat and a fire. One of the beautiful examples in the Vedas is building a fire with a stick. You know how the Indians used to do it? They'd get a stick and make a string on it, and they put another stick in the center, and they put it on a block of wood, and they turn it really fast, and it would get hot, and then they put a little bit of light tinder or moss or something there, and then after all is churning, it would produce heat, and a flame would come up, and then they'd feed that flame with some more bigger pieces, and eventually they'd get a big fire. So that's that churning, or tapas is churn your mind and produce what? The fire of self-knowledge. That's the metaphor. It's a beautiful metaphor, but that's right.
Just go further up, because there might be some further. No, there's not.
No,
you can go down. Yeah.
What was this one? Is this text or the reply to that mail?
No, she's talking about the satsang, and we said yes.
No, is this text or the reply?
I've already replied to that.
Oh, is it? Is it on the website?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that text is.
Yes.
The outline of this is we'll post now, maybe tomorrow or the next day, so you can.
Of your talk.
Yeah, my talk.
Yes.
You can read it there, and alternatively, you can read it in the Gospel of Love, and in other words, the Yoga of Love, and the Yoga of the Three Gunas.
Let's see if there's any.
Okay.
There are new ones at the bottom.
Here's Damien.
You've already answered that.
No, I don't want to do that. That was sent to him on. I don't want to do that actually. I'm gonna post this. What I got today was very interesting, and I definitely can post it. And it was really touching. It was very moving to me, and it's something I actually saw and witnessed many times in India when I went for the darshan of various Mahatmas, including my teachers. And it's called Pada Puja, and worshiping the feet meaning knowledge, meaning your understanding. And the teacher is a stand-in for the knowledge. And this is a series of pictures taken by devotees. It's very simple, and it's very, it's not slick. It's just normal. You can just see how normal and everyday life is, and how amazing this culture is. It's like when you see this, and I saw it in real life, but you don't really need to see it in real life. You can see it right in these pictures, and there's a little text that goes along with it. Swamiji's words as they go along with it. It will invoke in you this feeling of sacredness and holiness and purity that you just don't see anymore in public, and the fact that is a public ritual in India just goes to show how evolved or advanced that society is on that level. Now we can't say if it's that evolved on that level. On the other side, it's just as corrupt and awful as it is transcendent and beautiful. But it's a very nice thing, and I'll post it. Everything here that's happening in our lives is just simply Ishwar supplying us knowledge to give to other people. We're just like vehicles or vessels for it, and it comes also beautifully timed. Uh, the topic was today, and suddenly that thing came in. I think it was last night or this morning. It appeared from one of you people, and so forth.
Let's go to Sissy.
Okay, here's Ceci again. Say, okay, I was trying to speak. So here it's about
Vishesha
Dharma. Yes, I understand it is Samanya Dharma, but relative depending on situation. It's pesky, definitely.
Yeah, well, vishesha dharma is ethics basically. So you got the swadharma, samanya dharma is the universal dharma, and then you have your own personal swadharma, and in the middle, kind of between the two, is vishesha dharma. So
it's the reaction. It's how you react to the situation.
Yes, but certain situations other people may consider a dharmic,
Yeah.
but it would be a dharmic for you in that particular situation.
Yeah.
So it is tricky because it needs to be interpreted by the situation and by your own swadharma.
On the fly, because when you're in a situation, there's a moral dimension to that. And if you're attracted to a situation or find yourself in a situation, it's because the world wants to hear from you, needs to hear from you. Well, what does it need to hear from you? It needs to get the wisdom that is put into you by God.
Yeah.
So God, everything that's in you is put in you by God, and the situation is created so that you can contribute your God knowledge to the situation. And that's called vishesha dharma, in other words, situational dharma.
Yeah.
It only happens in situations with other people. So like that.
But as she's saying, it's tricky because it depends on the situation and on the person.
Yeah, when Arjuna asked Krishna this question in the Gita, and Krishna smiles and says, about this topic, even wise people are confused.
That's why, and it's sometimes it's easy to judge somebody on that level, but you're not seeing it from the point of view of that situation, that ethics, that's swadharma of that particular situation and person.
Right.
So it's tricky. But if generally speaking, I think if you're breaking universal rules and you're hurting and injuring people, you are breaking dharma.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to hurt people in order to do the right thing.
Yeah,
So
sometimes that's right. And because
it's tricky.
You're an instrument of God's will, and sometimes you have to deliver some knowledge or some kind of communication to people.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable. And if you're dedicated to the Lord, to the truth, then you can do that in a reasonable, fair way, without adding any more conflict to this situation anymore. So it just requires diplomacy and a subtle kind of appreciation that help. Elliot, here we go. When Cece was speaking, her volume was very loud. Maybe you need to turn up your speakers. Yeah. Okay.
But we couldn't hear her.
We couldn't hear her, yeah.
At all.
Maybe it's not connected to the audio.
I think you didn't go to, I told you should connect with
What do you
computer
mean?
audio. You didn't connect to computer audio earlier.
Well, somebody's got to help me. I just got 10 things, 15 things.
No, I asked you and you said you had.
I thought we did, didn't we? We didn't connect to it? Oh, it's our fault. Yeah, and we put on a go live thing for YouTube, and it didn't kick in either.
Yeah, I have some good news, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Never
what
mind
was
now.
okay?
It's finished. Okay, thanks.
Okay, Elliot, we'll try again. Sorry, we're getting better. You'd be surprised at how much we're growing in this whole thing. So just hang in there. It's going to get more.
They don't seem to have their loudspeakers turned on. You didn't, yeah.
Well, what should I do now?
Well, it's too late now. I mean, if they couldn't hear us, surely they would have told us.
Well, they must be hearing us.
Go on here.
Up here?
Here.
Here.
Yeah. Turn it off. Turn it on.
There, can you hear now?
Try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we found the setting. Sorry.
Thank
You
No
could hear us, but
problem.
we
No
couldn't-
problem.
Yeah.
Thank you for your response. I can get it. But my question now will be, as it is a relative way to apply dharma or a relative dharma, what I think it's dharmic may be a dharmic for someone else, or just wouldn't they don't like it or want it. But if I'm stick to the dharma, I can still act. Or it's like in a situation, sometimes being dharmic hurts others, as you said,
Yeah.
Sundari.
Yes.
So it's
You have to
it's
choose,
tricky.
you have to choose the right words.
It's like, for instance, if you're in a bad marriage and one party wants to get out, but the other person doesn't and is devastated, but you know you have to do it because it's the right thing
To
for
do.
you. You can't stay just for the sake of the other person, because that's dishonest. So, that's situations like those. There are situations where you have to injure other people in order to do the right thing.
But you don't blame them. You don't say this is your fault. Right?
Okay.
Right?
You do it honestly and
You
kindly.
just say,
Yes.
it's this whole situation, we've tried to solve it for a long time. We've talked about it a lot, but nothing changes. And I've got to keep growing. I feel stuck here. And we don't seem to be communicating. It's as much my problem as your problem. And I think the relationship is holding both of us back. So let's try to live apart for a while and see how that works, and so on. So little by step, oh, you son of a bitch, you did this and you did that, all that does is what? It keeps the thing alive, not only outwardly and inwardly. It keeps that anger and that blame inwardly going in you. And you can't move forward into the new situation, into a more peaceful or sattvic situation where you can actually grow.
But on the other hand, in order to follow your Swadharma, you have to make those decisions. And you can't apply karma yoga in a situation where there needs to be action taken, even if it hurts other people. So, yeah, it is tricky.
Thank you, Sundari. Thank you,
You're
Randy.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Here's Matthew Martin.
You can hear. He's just saying, I can
Oh,
hear
it
you.
looks like, yeah.
We heard you fine. Okay.
Okay, everybody.
I think that's it.
That's probably it. Okay, now
So tomorrow, for next weekend, we will be at Suyalila,
oh, yeah.
and we have the excellent assistance of our friend Georg, who is staying with us, and he's helping us in all kinds of ways with our social media platform, particularly. And we are going to stream it on YouTube. However, we are going to make it by invitation. So it will be in. You will pay a certain amount just to cover the costs per week. It's actually 2 weeks. It's over 2 weeks, from a Monday to Friday, and then from the Friday to the following Friday.
Friday.
Sunday
Yes.
to Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's 10 days.
The two sections will be a minimum charge, and that's really just to cover our costs. We are paying Georg for his help, and it costs us to do this. So if you want to attend, you're more than welcome, and you will get the links to all the sessions. And even if you can't listen at that particular time, they will be available within an hour, right, on YouTube.
Yeah,
and they will stay on YouTube.
And they'll stay there, so you will watch them at your convenience.
Yes.
But they are private, so you need to link to access.
Yeah, we put those private. They're not public.
They will be private, so it will be by invitation, and we'll only get the link once you have paid the minimum cost. The donation part will be up to you.
That's up to you.
That is over and above the cost. And we will send out a campaign this week explaining what the cost will be. And once you have paid, we will send you the links.
Yeah.
So that will be that's for next Sunday. The seminar starts Well, it's actually, it doesn't start next Sunday. It starts on Monday
Yeah.
week. So we could actually do a Zoom on Sunday. We will let you
No,
know what's
we'll-
happening next
yeah.
Sunday, because we
We'll-
will be at Suyalila and in preparation for the
I
seminar.
think that Vidya's going to do
Yeah.
that Sunday night,
So
isn't
we
she?
won't do next Sunday.
Yeah, actually, we won't.
Yes.
I'm sorry
won't.
about that.
It'll start on the Monday though, and then it'll be,
Yeah.
well, almost 2 weeks of daily satsang.
Yeah,
That's-
it'll be 10 days of 5 hours a day, about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can watch it live as
Oh,
well as later on.
That's what I
You
said.
can put in comments, it will be answered. And
Do you want
Yeah,
to come and take over?
You can
instead?
continue the satsang, yeah.
Yeah, Gail was saying you can watch it live and you can comment live. So if there's question time, you can post your questions, or you can listen to it later. It'll be there for you to watch again later if you want to, even if you do attend live, or if you can't attend live, you can watch it later.
Oh, and another thing that you can do, this is just, obviously just up to you, but you can start following, I obviously want you to follow the satsangs on the website, because we're posting them regularly now, even more than usual. So almost every day there's 1 or 2 new ones. So you won't get bored by saying, oh, there's nothing this week, and I forget it. We got a nice long backlog of things, because there's lots of people writing in all the time now, more and more and more. And you can also, here's another thing you can do during any time you got free time, you can go on the YouTube and watch the comments and put in your comments, your criticisms or your support or your questions, whatever it is. And I go in, or Georg goes in, or Sundari goes in, and can reply to you online right there. So you can get your answer very quickly right there. So, and
Okay, so we'll let everybody know. We'll send out a campaign with further details, and we hope to see you all, or as many as possible, attending the seminar.
yeah. Okay.
Good night.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Jai Vedanta. Take it easy and God bless.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Seti.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ramji and Sundari. Thank you.
Thank you,
bet,
Sarika.
Sarika.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
End the recording first. Don't end the meeting. End the recording first.
Oh, the recording, yeah. I gotta go back, huh? To get the record. Oh, I can turn it off here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, you cancelled it. Go back.
Oh.
It's still recording.
Oh,
Go to the other one. That one, yes.
stop recording.
Yes.
Recording stopped.
There we go. Okay.
yeah,
Now end the meeting
In the meeting. Okay.
and end the meeting.
For everybody.
Yeah.
great success from the YouTube.
Really?
What? What's that?
Yeah, look at this. Oh, no, you have to go here. Yeah, look at this. It's live on YouTube, and the people are putting in their comments and even put in money donations.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
High
Look in
five.
here. Here's a $20 donation from this guy. And here's another $20 donation from Bridget. They're listening there.
Yeah, they even prefer it. YouTube is great. They prefer it over Zoom.
Oh, they do? They prefer it over Zoom.
Amazing. Well
Cool.
done.
Oh,
You're putting us into the 21st century.
yeah.
How's it feel? That's nice. It's
Still
nice.
cold.
It's
a little
still
cold.
cold. Let's
Yeah.
go to the fire.
Click on end stream here.
You haven't ended the meeting, darling.
End stream.
Yeah,
I did end the meeting.
you
And-
didn't.
No?
Nope.